how this goes. Hey everybody, thank you for coming on. We are recording tonight because I have a pretty awesome training, I think. I hope it's organized. I have a lot of pages written all over and I'm trying to put it together. But I want to start by congratulating Molly, who I just called to try to get on. Molly is in Arizona, so her the time is different, so I'm hoping she gets on. Molly and Angela, who won our beautiful, this is a Kendra Scott, but not the one that I raffled, beautiful Kendra Scott jewelry yesterday. Molly won because I did, the first drawing was everybody that had 300 in by the 15th. So every 300 you had in, you went into the drawing. And the second one was all of our star consultants because the star quarter ended yesterday. So that was our final fourth quarter that ended yesterday. So we are still 2 weeks into the year. We still have more of June to go. So it's really weird when it ends in the 15th like that because it's deceiving. You think it's all over, but it's really not. We still have 2 weeks to go, and it's going to be 2 weeks like you've never experienced in your life. And I'm going to get you ready for it tonight. So we are in the final stretch. I was realizing as I finished up the star quarter as well, this is my 29th quarter as a star. And that means I have gotten tons and tons of awesome things. And I don't know any part of Mary Kay life without that experience. And Michelle taught me well and pampered me well enough so that I just couldn't stop going back for more and more and more. So congratulations to all the stars. Get ready to start dreaming because we have a lot of dreaming and things to do in the next 2 weeks. And I kind of want to start with that. So I am going to ask you guys a question. So I know for me, one of the things that drew me to Mary Kay, and I remember talking to Dee about this the other day, is that I loved the idea of being a boss. I loved the idea of being a boss of myself, being a boss of how I run my business, what I do. That was a drive for me for all the reasons of being a co-teacher, not having having some, whatever. There's lots of reasons why that attracted me. So I want to ask you, I thought about, as a boss, what are the 5 things that I would look for if I was truly, like, I'm a mentor, but if I truly was a boss and I had to hire people, what are the 5 characteristics would be that I would look for? And I want you to think about as you're building a team. So like, I know Laura's building a team, Sarah's, everybody has tried, whether people have stayed active or not, all the girls on have built teams. So I want you to tell me what I'm going to tell you my top 5 because the training is going to go along with those things. But think of write them on a sheet of paper. What 5 things in terms of like leadership and qualities you would look for if you were the boss hiring for any business or any company? What are the characteristics that you would look for? So just take 1 second and write those 5 things on paper. And they might not come to your head quick, but I want you to start with your top 5. Just give me like a thumbs up when you're done too. I have my phone. Call people. You guys, more time? All right. So do you guys have your 5? Angela does. She gave me the high 5. Sarah, Angela. Okay. So tell me, any one of you, tell me what your five things are.
Teamwork,
What are the rest of them?
reliability,
Mm-hmm.
communication,
Mm-hmm.
willing to learn, train, and mentor.
Those are good.
I guess that's all I have.
That's good.
I thought I had 5.
No, that's good. Laura, what are your top 5?
Confident, knowledgeable, trainable, positive, and motivated.
Like it. D, what are your top 5?
I failed. I'm still working.
Oh, okay. You can keep working. Sarah, what are your top 5?
Motivated, put together, charismatic, passionate, and confident.
You got, that's good. Totally different than the top 5 that I have, but some of them were the same. So now I want you to do this. I want you to rank yourself on all of those things. In Mary Kay, you picked your top qualities, and I want you to rank where you are right now in all of those top 5 things. So whatever you put, I heard charismatic, that's the one in my head. Where are you in the charismatic scale? Rank yourself in those 5 things.
Like from 1 to 5,
Yeah, each one from 1 to 5.
5's the highest.
Yeah. So now I want to ask you all, where are your rankings? Are they like all high? Are there some low? Are they a range? Are they, just give me like, you know, some are high, some are low.
I have 3s and 4s.
3s and 4s. What do you have, Sarah?
It ranges from 2 to 5, but mostly in the middle.
In the middle. Angela, what do you have?
3, 4, and 5s.
So let me ask you this. Would you hire yourself? Or would you let yourself go if you were an employee? Based on how you ranked yourself, would you hire yourself?
I would.
You would?
Mhm.
Yes.
So,
would.
so where I'm going with this is, as a boss and somebody building your team, we have the ability to look for characteristics in people that we want to be in our space. That's one of the perks of Mary Kay. And D, I know when I met you and when I talked to you, I told you all the things that I saw in you that I thought were going to be good. Like, there's characteristics that you had. The fact that you were the first one on tonight, you were ready to go and you had questions and you've been talking to people and you're talking about inventory, like those are all red, green lights for me. Those are all good, not red flags, they're green. So those are all great things. So we all clearly are looking for people in our space that are successful, because you know you are the 5 people you hang around with. So I want to tie that into what we define as a successful person, and how we feel like being successful in this business, and how that's going to tie into taking us through the end. So I'm going to start kind of by introducing a cycle to you. And I learned this in a training. I've been listening to a little bit of different trainings, and I kind of put all of this together. This actually came from Tony Robbins, and it's the success cycle. And if you have a sheet of paper, draw like a T-chart, like a square, like this. And on each corner, you're going to write 4 things. While you're doing that, I'm going to tell you what my top 5 are, because it's going to tie into what I'm going to talk about. So if you've drawn the squares, in the upper left, you're going to write potential. In the upper right, you're going to write activity. In the bottom left, you're going to write results. And in the bottom right, you're going to write belief and certifiable. Certifiable belief. Certainty, not certifiable. Belief and certainty. So so my top 5 that I look for, and I think it's evolved as I've grown and changed in this business. So these are the top 5 things that I look for in my characteristics. Number 1 is belief. Number 2 is determination. Number 3 is grit. Number 4 is vision. And number 5 is being a finisher. Those are the top 5 for me that I want. And I'll tell you what part of how it's evolved. It's definitely evolved from this business, but it's also evolved from what I see in the classroom. Why these things are important. Today was a perfect example. We had our final today in math, and I couldn't figure out why I left the day feeling so miserable and frustrated. And I'll tell you why. Because I have noticed that some of my students have zero grit and stick-to-itness. And I saw that on their final exam in math today. There was multiple questions in part 2s, and I had 3 people turn in exams that were 50% done, didn't even start, didn't even try. And I got very frustrated because it was like holding me back to say what I wanted to say, but I couldn't because I would get in trouble. But it was like, I can't do it. It's good. It's good enough, done. Didn't finish, didn't have belief in themselves, didn't even try. And I see that all the time. The kids don't have that stick-to-itness and grit like they used to. And not all kids, but a lot of kids. I work in special ed, so a lot of the kids that I see. And I think that my 2 worlds of Mary Kay and teaching collide when I see that, because I want to say, stick to it, guys. You're going to go high valley. You're going to keep going. It's okay if you make a mistake, but they don't. So that is sort of what my list came out of. But I want to go back to my number 1 thing, which is belief, and it's going to tie into potential, like your potential and your belief. So I want to ask yourself, do you believe that you can be successful in Mary Kay? Do you believe that there is potential and that you can be successful in Mary Kay? Just in your head, think about that for a minute. Do you believe that this is a business where you can be successful? And do you have belief in yourself? So would you agree that if you have belief and you believe in the potential of this business, that you're not going to go anywhere without activity or action, right? You can have all the belief in this business that you want, but if you join and you start and you just kind of expect that, oh, the skies are going to open, everything's going to happen, nothing will. You have to believe in the potential. You have to believe that there is potential in this business. Do you believe that with hard work, things will happen? I mean, whether they do or don't, do you believe in the potential that they can happen if you work hard? Just give me, yeah. Do you tell yourself positive things? Are you protective of the positive words that come in your head? Because part of having belief is what you tell yourself every day. It's how you, it's like, I'll give you an analogy with weight, since I just came from the gym and I'm trying to work on it. Like, sometimes I say to myself, why don't you want to get your measurements? And Angela knows, because we just were at the gym and she asked us for our measurements, and I was like, no, know. And I'm thinking about this, like, why do I not want to get measurements? Why do I feel that my waist is so thick? And then if I think like that, then I tell myself, because I love sweets, and because I hate working out, and because I drink, this is a very healthy one, but I usually drink about 2 of these a day, and they're not the healthy versions. So that's what I tell myself if I focus on that. But instead, I can turn it around and say, damn, I have a slamming body right now, and my clothes are fitting me better. And why is that? Oh, I know. It's because I'm going to the gym with a trainer twice a week, and I'm working out, and I'm watching what I'm eating and that. So if I tell myself positive in, I'm going to start to believe it. If I consistently am telling myself all of the negative things about myself, I'm going to believe it. So if you believe in potential, the potential will be there by the thoughts that you put in your head. So you have to protect that, especially if you're finishing a goal. You can't have those negative thoughts. In the past couple of days, and I'm going to move on, but in the past couple of days, I've had a lot of negative thinking, and I've been in my own head. Hi, Dawn. I was feeling like I was moving in a positive, and then I looked at numbers and I looked at things, and I got in my own head, and it derailed me and got me off focus. And I had to like stop and think, wait a minute, this is pulling me away from my goal. This is not pushing me where I want to be. And I had to refocus and recenter, because ultimately I control my own thoughts, and I needed to get them in control. So what yourself matters, and what you visualize matters, and what you dream matters. Do you all have goals for the end of the year and dreams? Like what? And I know for you, Dee, you're just starting, and Molly is starting. I know Molly has goals. She told me right when she came back, I know what I want to do, and I'm going to do it. Dee, you want sneakers. So you know clearly what your goals are. So that's number one, is have dreams, and not little ones, but like really big ones. So that's the important thing. So let's talk about if you have potential, the potential is you're gonna show your potential with action. So one thing that I had heard about action is, I'm going to give you a little startling statistic. 90% of the people that you meet are starters. 10% are finishers. What percent do you want to be? There's 90%. And I think that that's not that off with Mary Kay. Many, 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 many women start. We all know that. We've all had people on our team that have started, but only 10% finish. So what makes that 10% develop the habit? Because finishing is really nothing but a muscle. It's a habit. Once you do it, you know how to do it, and you always do it. So how do you develop that habit of finishing? How do you turn that action into something that's going to be coming out to be a finish? I'm going to give you some tips on how you do that. You delegate what's not important. I saw Dee do it in the very beginning. She said, go get me a Diet Coke, or get me a Pepsi. I'm too busy, to your daughter. Delegate what you can't do. You don't have to do it all. Delegate some things. You remove what doesn't move you forward. You remove it. Everything you do, especially when you're focused on a goal, has to be moving you forward. If it's derailing you, you have to like remove it. Obviously, you can't remove things in your life and your family and things like that, because for some people, and like me included, people in my life, sometimes I have to remove. You can't do that, but remove the activities that you can remove. Another thing that you can think about is gaining another day in the week. How do you do that? There's only 7 days. Well, I will tell you how you do that. You join the Din Din Club. You get up, you do it now, and you get up a little bit earlier every day. If you get up 1 to 2 hours earlier, 3 days a week, you're going to buy yourself another day in the week. So in that time that you bought yourself in the morning, you can be doing a whole lot of things. You can't be cold calling people then, but you can be doing a lot of things for your business, so that later in the day, you don't have to do those things. You can focus on the things that you need to focus on. So like inventory and stuff like that, putting orders in, you know, that I could do that in the morning because it doesn't involve other people. But when I get out of school, I need that to be prime time to call people because that's when they're awake and when they're around. So you have to like think about when you do things. Are you putting in the hours to do the action? To get to a goal, you have to know, it's like working out. I would love to not have this, and ooh, it's not as bad as it was, but I would love to not have that. But I know that it's going to take doing jazzercise, the YMCA, and working out with a trainer for this to go. It's not going to happen overnight. I would love it to happen by seminar, but it's probably going to be like the rest of my life. And I know that, and I've sabotaged myself a million times, but I need to develop a habit. So I'm trying to go every day. So if I slack off 1 or 2 days, I still have at least 4 days. Like I'm trying to develop a habit. I look at all the people who are great at working out and they're like, oh yeah, they're just gym people. They always have had that habit. So I'm trying to develop a habit. Small tasks are important because small tasks build your habit. And I'm going to say one that I personally know that I need to work on. Dawn has it mastered. Prayer. We cannot get there without prayer. I know that I have to work on that a lot, and I need to ask God for more because God listens to us. Dawn talks about it all the time, that God hears us. And I heard a quote that I want to share that I loved. It says, God doesn't bless a parked car. So if you are not in action and you are not moving, there isn't a blessing there. But if you are in action and moving, he's going to put everything in your path, and it's up to you to find it. And I think that's happening now, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So I think prayer is a big part of it, making a gratitude list and remembering what you're grateful for, and your 6 most important, because if you write it on the paper, you'll do it and it'll keep you focused. Do I do all of these things all the time? No, but do I want to? Yes. Those are, especially when I'm trying to reach a goal in the last 2 weeks, I'm uber super focused, and I'm going to show you how in a few minutes. So the third thing is, if you are doing the action, you're going to move down to that third box, which is the results. Whatever the results are. So I started having this huge goal for where I wanted us to finish. And I still believe, I have 100% believe that we are going to finish, not maybe at that number, but strong. I believe in us. For us to reach our goal, we need to do over 10,000 in the next 2 weeks. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, but I have to have belief that we're going to do it. So, but there's another part of that. I knew early in the month that there was a possibility that maybe we wouldn't hit that goal, but I know that for me, I'm not going to go to seminar without a huge win. So for me, my goal changed and shifted to something that I've never done before. I've never done 30 brand new faces in a month, not 30 customers, 30 brand new faces. So that became my goal on the 1st of this month. And I'm going to show you what I've been doing with that, because when I go to seminar across the stage for the first time as a director, there's no way in hell I'm not going to feel like I had a win, a personal win. Like I have a unit win, but this is my personal win. And God isn't going to bless me if I'm parked. So I'm moving, and I need that. Do you all agree that emotion drives your motion? That's another one, that getting in your head is going to derail you. Staying focused, and I know a lot of this is probably marine stuff, but you know, staying focused is definitely going to be getting you where you want, but your emotion is going to be your number one enemy and the thing that could derail you the fastest. So if you have the action, if you believe that you have the action and the potential, you have to believe with 100% certainty that your goal is going to be achieved. So will there be enough action for you to finish? So that leads me to Another thing that I had heard, I don't know, did any of you listen to the $1 Million Message yesterday? I'm going to give you a quote, and it tied into a lot of what I've been talking about, and I'm going to show you something too. And this is a quote from Mary Kay. And what she said was, what you can vividly imagine, ardently desire, and sincerely believe and with enthusiastic action will it inevitably come to fruition. So I'm going to say that again because I felt it tied exactly into everything that we were just talking about. What you can vividly imagine, ardently desire, and sincerely believe with enthusiastic action will inevitably come to fruition. Mary Kay Ash. So I love that. And vividly imagine, we talked about that. You don't have a goal if you don't have a goal. You have to imagine a goal. You have to have something bigger than yourself that you're reaching for. So there's the imagine, your desire, belief. There's that belief again. There's the action, and then reaching the goal. So that was Mary Kay herself, kind of talking about that whole belief cycle and that whole cycle. So another thing too is we all have had to pivot. Do you all agree that we've had times in our business that have not been the best? You have to pivot in those times, but you can't pivot if you're not in motion. So the way that you pivot is by being in motion. And the last thought about this is how you end one chapter defines how you're going to start the next. So how you end your seminar year sets you up for how you're going to start the next year and start recharging the next goals. So I made a mistake my first year. I ended up my seminar year. I reached some goals, but I was very new. I was only 3 months in. And then in July, I kind of took a nap. I was like, yeah, cool. I did it. Yay. And I kind of took a break. And let me tell you something. I never did that again because it really kind of screwed me up for the next year, because that first month is the most important. So I want to show you how all this has looked for me in the last couple of days. So when I decided that my goal was going to be 30 new faces, I knew that was going to be hard. I knew it would require tracking, and I knew that it would require consistent time put into it without distractions. Just like when I became a director 2 years ago, I had to go away to do it. I had to remove everything. And I kind of feel like I'm going through the same process right now. So I took all of the leads that I had from that festival and working at Staples, knowing that many of the leads weren't going to be the best leads. I knew that going into it, and I knew that there would be chance of some rejections. But I tracked in a notebook all of the girls, and I took notes on every single time that I called them. The highlighted colors means that it's the contacts that I have. You can't really see it, but I've been tracking and tracking and tracking. So I want to show you my calendar. If you can look at all of the pink, those are all facials and parties that I have booked. And I'm not showing you to brag because my calendar's never looked like this before. I'm showing you because I know that in the end, when you want to reach a goal, you rely on yourself to get there. You can't rely on other people. So right now, I have 30 faces booked this month. And on July 1st, I have 5 more. So I have 35 faces booked right now. But I know that they might not all hold. So I have 8 to 10 more people that I need to contact. Why is this important? Because would you agree that parties lead you to future parties? If you are working a party full circle, it's going to lead you to future parties. So if I truly hold all 5 parties this month, all those parties are going to introduce me to new people who are going to have new parties, and it's going to take me into July and August and give me the strong start that I need for the beginning of the year. So what I do in the next 2 weeks is the most important, not just because I need there to be sales, because The sales are secondary. What I need is I need to generate future activity. So what I want you to do is think about what it is that you want to do when you finish. And a lot of people have already done Princess Court or Queen's Court, but is that your goal, or do you have something else set aside that you want to do in your business? And are you going to be somebody that you would hire yourself and be a finisher and do that? Because it's going to be hard. Your knees are going to be a little bloody, and you're going to have to put things off, and it's not going to be easy, but it is going to be worth it, because I've had in this business about 5 or 6 big wins, and I will never forget any of them to some degree. I think they're more fun than your wedding day. I do. Like, the wins are so important because you put so much into them. And I want you to never forget this about Mary Kay, our company, not Mary Kay the person, that Mary Kay was created with the intention of changing people's lives. Changing lives doesn't only happen with sales and money. Changing lives happens when somebody develops confidence. It happens when somebody feels that they can do something that they've never done before. It happens when you offer the opportunity to somebody. It's not always the sale. So in the last 2 weeks, when I'm always thinking numbers and money and numbers, I'm trying to my hardest to take that out of my eyes, because when we take the number and the money out of our eyes and what we can get from it and focus on how much this business can truly change lives, that's when the money comes in, and that's when the sales happen, and that's when we start to really grow our business. So I hope that wasn't all over the place, but I want to hear from all of you what your thoughts are, what your key takeaways are. What do you think about that? I want to hear from you. I've lost a lot of faces, so I'm hoping you guys are all still on. What do you take from that? Hello. Nobody has any comments? Good, bad thoughts?
Well, I truly believe that if you work the business, it will work for you. And I get turned down many, many times to have a party, come to the studio. Hell, I've been to vendor shows where I haven't sold a damn dime, but I still just keep plugging away.
Mm-hmm.
Am I where I want to be? No, but you know, I mean, I have a full-time job and I'm doing the best that I can with the resources that I have, but I'm still plugging away. I'm still trying. Yes, I get discouraged, and yes, I get into my own head just like you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to tell my brain to shut up, and I just have to keep going. And that's what I'm trying to do. I would love to be able to, hell, I would love to do 15 faces a month. You know, I just can't
Set
get
it as a
people to
goal.
commit. Yeah.
Set it as a goal. And what it takes, I don't think it takes anything crazy. I think it takes a small habit every day. If you dedicate yourself to 1 hour or 40 minutes every day where you tell yourself, I don't care how many people say no, but I'm going to reach out to these people. And I'll tell you the difference. I started with texts. As soon as I picked up the phone, people said yes. They need to hear your enthusiasm and your voice. You'll find the words, but they have to hear your voice, because I'll tell you a thing to watch out for. People think when you call and they don't know your number that you're scam or that you're like, you know, that you're not whatever, because they don't recognize the number. So if they answer, you have to keep them on the line. And those first few seconds are crucial, because they might be like, I gotta go get my dog. My dog's running away. I gotta go. So you have to keep them on the line and remind them who you are. Remind them how you remember. Tell them, you know, I wanted to hear your beautiful voice. Do something to keep them on, because in those first 50 seconds, they might flee. So just keep that in mind. But I will tell you, before I said that you have to have belief that miracles are going to happen. And I'm going to tell you exactly what's happened in the last 3 days. There are times where I will call and call and call and call, and I'll get nothing, and I get discouraged. And in the last 3 days, what's weird is that I'm not even calling on what I think is prime hour. I'm calling at like 2:30, 3 o'clock. But almost every single person that I've called has answered. And not only answered, but said, I want to book a party. So I'm going to keep telling myself, everybody that Jackie calls books parties, because I need to hear that in my head, because every time someone books, I'm like, I'm going to do 5 more. I need to get another one. And you just keep going. So the one yes is going to propel you to keep going. But you can't stop until your timer has set. If you set it for 40 minutes, you can't stop until it's over. You just keep going. And you hear the no's, who cares? No's mean move on, make room for somebody else. And have a strategy and write things down. Because if you don't write things down and you don't remember what they talked about and what is important to them, it's going to be really, really, really hard to follow up with them. It's going to be hard to remember, did I text them 5 times? Am I being a nag now? So you have to track every single contact, what you did. You left a message, you did this, so that you're not being scary K, but you're being Mary K. And, you just have to you have to track so that you do that. But my thing was, out of all 35 of those leads, I will say that there's only about 7 to 8 left that I have to contact. And there was one that hung up on me, and I actually wrote her back and said, did you mean to hang up on me? I texted her and I said, I'm assuming that was a mistake, but if it wasn't, okay, but I think that's a mistake. So I just acknowledged when they hung up on me. I didn't let her off the hook. I was like, that I feel like that was rude. Did you just hang up on me? So I acknowledged it. But yeah, I had about 3 that were like run the other way, but nobody else. So that just shows that there is potential in people. And once you have 1 or 2 yeses, you're going to keep going. And you have to book the parties, because the parties lead to parties. The facials do too, but the parties, you're working the masses in a short time, and it's important to do that. And you are all well trained. You come to the studio, you watch what we do, you are confident with your customers, you are all well trained on having parties, whether I'm here or not. UD, I'm going to do your party, but everybody else, you've done it. So you don't have to have me, although you always do, but you can do your own parties, because parties lead to faces, and just like I talked about the cycle of, there's a whole success cycle, there's also a failure cycle. A lot of my students get in it. They miss school for 3 days, and then they get anxiety. And then they come back and they have anxiety because they miss school and they're behind in school. So they get more anxiety, so they stay home. And then I can't catch them up because they have anxiety because they miss so much school. And it's a cycle. And you all have probably seen it. If you have kids or kids, pretty common right now. I don't feel good, my tummy hurts, there's a test tomorrow, so you don't come to school, you miss the test. But the test doesn't go away. You come back to school the next day and there's still the test. Well, now I failed the test, so I got to stay home because I got to cry for a day. So they stay home, and then they get behind on 4 other subjects, and the cycle starts. Well, take that same cycle and make it success. If you have 1 success, you're going to feel pretty darn confident, and you're going to have another one, because you're going to be positive and smile and only say positive things, and it's going to lead to another. So we control the cycle. I wish I could control it with my students, but we control our own cycle. So make it a positive cycle. You're all on. That's the first step. You all took the time out and came on. You are making commitments every day by showing up when you're busy, when you're sad, when you got things going on. This is like the happy place. You come here and you show up, and that's all I can expect from anybody. So what else are your thoughts? I want to hear from other people.
I'm very
Yeah.
into
Oh, sorry.
sorry, Don,
No worries.
that you have to believe what you think and think what you believe. And I'm not very religious anymore, but as a kid, I was very into concepts. So my Aunt Jenny told me that when you have bad thoughts, when they can't get them out of your head, you just say, "I rebuke you, devil," like, or, and I still do
Brush
it.
it off.
I haven't been to church in like 15 years, but I still do it because I deal with anxiety so bad and I have such
Negative.
spiraling thoughts sometimes. And if I just take myself and use whatever words mean it to you, you know, even if it's just telling you to stop it or whatever, you know, don't say shut up stupid, because you're not stupid. You're talking to yourself. So you got to remember that is there as well. You know, don't put yourself down for dealing with this or that. Just remember that, just keep thinking positive and it will happen. And if you don't believe in yourself, remember how much Jackie believes in you. And that should
That's
boost your
right.
confidence a bunch.
That's right. I do. And it's funny that you said that, because when I called the other day, I called Michelle because I was mopey and I was pathetic and I was getting in my own head. And she reminded me, she said, the one thing that you have that a lot of people don't have is you believe in everybody. You don't care who they are. They walk in the door and you believe in them. And she goes, that's not a gift that many people have. And she goes, so you have to work in your gifts. You figure out what your gifts are and you work in those. And I was like, that's really? And she goes, oh yeah. She goes, I've seen it for 7 years. You believe in everybody that walks in that door. You find something to believe in and you do it. And it's right. If you don't believe in yourself, I'll believe in you for you. That is true. Molly knows, right, Molly? I hear you. I see you on there somewhere. Don, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank, well, first and foremost, thank you, Jackie, of course, because like Sarah said, you believe in us. And if you didn't believe in me, you know, in my slump, I wouldn't be here. And then if you didn't set a good track record of success and consistency, I don't think I would be here in Mary Kay, you know. But I love what Angela said in terms of, and I look at it like what she said is, you know, never giving up and planting a seed. I know that, I mean, because just thinking back, Sarah, I agree with you too, because like Jackie said about prayer, I've always been faithful and prayerful as a young girl, but more so now that I've been married. I mean, because I see God answering my prayers right away and strengthening me, you know, and I'm not letting go of that. If he's not going to let go of me, guess what? I'm not letting go of him. But yeah, little things mean a lot to me. They always have. And I know that if you just keep plugging at things with your faith, it's going to happen. My son said to me the other day, I went on a nature walk with him in Pittsford on the trail. He goes, Ma, how do you know? Because he was like, how do you know God is with you, or how do you know like he's showing up or whatever? And the response that I gave him, he goes, Ma, that's faith. He goes, but that's not how you know God is present with you. And so I took that and I didn't challenge him on it or even ponder. I just listened to my son because we were just walking and listening, you know, and I was listening to him. But I feel like listening to all of you tonight, and especially Jackie, how you are with us, I know God is going to show up when it's going to be a grand finale. You know, it's going to be a grand.
I believe in
it's going to be a
miracles.
grand finale. Yes,
And I
ma'am.
have
And that's
to.
what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. It's going to be a miracle because I know what I pray for all the time, and I believe, and I know God is going to give me the desires of my heart, and for me to be able to maintain myself. You know what I mean? Maintain and take care of myself, because that's going to really boost my confidence and make me feel good about who I am and taking care of myself as a woman. Because I'm focusing on the women at the conference that we went to, and all their successes and the things that they say they, you know, where they said they've come from. I mean, you know, all of our struggle, I feel, is unique, right? But you know, just plugging at it and plugging at it, we're all going to be successful. We're all going to be blessed.
And I know,
yeah.
and I know that not everybody is going to be going to seminar. I would love, and I can give you all the reasons why I would love you to go. but I want to celebrate all of your successes, but I don't want to go alone, because I was explaining this to Jerry yesterday. They seat you by your status. So we're a new unit. We're not at the top. So that means I might be in the back section by myself if I don't have people going. So I want you guys to go because I want you to celebrate your wins. And I know that it is a financial I know you don't know a lot about seminar. You can go. It's in August or July, and it's in Dallas. And it's probably the biggest party of the year. And it's the most important function in our whole Mary Kay year. And it's where we learn, it's where we train, it's where we celebrate wins. It's all of that in a bag of chips. And I will fill you in on it. But if there is any way that you can make it a goal to go, you have 2 weeks left to register. I think the flights, if you book them soon, are going to be around $600 round trip. So altogether, it's going to be about 15. That's a lot. I'm going to say it's going to be about $1,100 because it's $225 for your ticket. Then there's your flight, and it's going to be about $225 to $250 for your hotel. So altogether, we're talking a little over $1,000, which is a lot of money. But we have 2 weeks, and we can move mountains in 2 weeks, and I believe that we can. So we're going to work towards it. I know, Dawn, you have a big goal, and you've already hit Princess Court, but the rest of what you're doing needs to be for a seminar. I want you there. You're on Princess Court. You're going to be on stage. I want everybody to be there. It's a huge, I've been dreaming about this since we stopped going 3 years ago because of COVID. I've been dreaming about walking on the stage with a unit for so long that that's what drives me and motivates me. That has been what has been motivating me for all of this time. When I became a director, it was like, I just kept thinking about what that day would be like and trying to get in shape and do all of that. It's all related. Like, I want that to be one of the highlights of the last 5 years for me, and it's going to be amazing, and things are going to happen, and, we're going to have weird stories to tell from it, but it's going to be amazing. And I want to celebrate all of you. And whether we hit our number goal or not, we have overcome a lot of shiz this year. We all can agree to that. I have moved 1 million times. I have not been settled since September. You all have had a lot of things happening with your family, your personal lives. We all have had COVID. We've dealt with the crap of COVID. We've just all been through a lot. And I think I have to take a deep breath and realize, holy crap, we have survived a lot, and we all take our few weeks or months or whatever, but we come back. And I think that is worth celebrating. Our strength is worth celebrating regardless of the number. And that's the thought that I need to keep in my head, so that's all. I had a lot tonight. I've been working really hard on it. I had some good stuff to share tonight, but I hope that, that was good for everybody. If I'm here, I'll be here tomorrow. Dee, if you want to come tomorrow or call me, I want to help you set your goals. We have 14 days left, and a lot of miracles can happen in 14 days. I became a director in 1 month. If I can become a director in 1 month, we as a unit can do over $10,000, and we can not even we can do 100 faces. If that goal is too hard, set a different one. Set one that is going to stretch you and be really, really hard to do, but is going to make you a better person and consultant. So you have to, even if you've hit whatever court you've hit, because I know Dawn and Laura and Angela all have done 4th quarter. Angela's almost on, just about ready to hit Princess. Dawn has hit Princess. Laura is close to Princess. Jerry has hit Queens. Like, we have all done things, but that can't be the goal. My goal was not Queens Court. I finished Queens Court last month. My goal is I want to meet and bless 30 brand new faces, because 30 times 5, what's 30 times 5? Oh, that's 150, right? That's 150 new faces. That is going to change my business. That is going to change my business. So it's a very short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain. That's how I'm looking at it. So everybody in my team at school, they're all going out to on Juneteenth, on Monday, they're all going to celebrate like retirement. I think I'm going to stay back and work. I'm not going to go away. I have very few days to get a lot of things done, and I don't have time to be distracted right now. I don't, because I won't reach my goal if I get distracted. So I know that's me in my personal life, but I'm going to wish some fairy dust on all of you to have the same level of commitment so that we can be partying like rock stars in 2 weeks. So Dee, do you still love us? She's like, I'm eating dinner.
Absolutely not.
You don't love us anymore?
Nah. I pass. I quit. I'm done.
All right. I kept it to 1 hour. I am done. I started at like 8:08, 7:08. So I kept it to an hour. So awesome for getting on tonight. Thank you. I know Molly had to go. Molly has a baby, and I know Laura had to step out, but thank you. Thank you. Congratulations to everybody. Dee, I'm super, super excited for you, and this is going to be amazing. And we're going to do a party next week, and it's going to be an awesome kickoff. So if you want to call me after, and we can get details worked out, we could do that too. So goodbye for now, everybody. Bye.
Bye, Jackie. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll post this tonight. Bye.